Hey guys, we are back. We are live. Can you see us? Can you hear us? Well, welcome back. We're on day 26 of our 50-day Go Live challenge. This all started just to help myself get comfortable speaking, not just to the donkey. It's different when I'm in the pen. So different in the pen,
Yeah, because you're talking to there's nobody watching you or judging you.
right?
And it's working. Well, why can she talk?
So today's topic is trail donkeys. We brought home 8 new ones, and a question that we get quite a bit is, can these actually go on the trail? Like, can that actually work?
Yeah, I see that often. Like I troll Facebook a lot, looking at the different donkey pages and stuff, and that's a common question. Is a donkey capable of being a reliable ground covering trail companion?
Mm-hmm.
They absolutely can. Absolutely. You can point me back on the right path here if I go off on a tangent. But her ride a wild, great big 13-1, almost 13-2 wild burro is an absolute putz in the arena and around pen. I mean, she's like, you're gonna grow old and die before you get there. You're gonna do something in the arena, but on the trail, there's enough stimulation and cool stuff going on that she just motors right along and keeps right on up with long-legged honk, and
Mm-hmm.
she's a great trail donkey.
She is great. Now, do I think that she's as fast as like Hannah's mule? I don't know that she'll ever be as fast, but Hannah is very, she's comfortable playing with other things like leaving the group and coming back. And Ah is comfortable not having to be right next to the group. So that's kind of a big deal with that. If you're with somebody who is faster and your donkey thinks they need to be next to the other people or the other equine, that could cause problems.
They could.
Seamus is another one. Seamus does pretty good on the trail with somebody who knows what he's doing. If I put somebody green on him, he plays
Yeah,
games.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
But they're not as fast. But like when I was ponying Seamus everywhere, Seamus kept up just fine. He did not slow us down. Once he understood the purpose of being ponied, it
yeah,
started off not so very
right,
fast.
right.
So I think a big part of getting your donkey to be able to keep up on the trail is conditioning.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, no, and also setting yourself up for success. If you've got if a dear friend of yours is a member of the American Tennessee Walker Riding Association, and they're going on a ride with Tennessee Walkers, who are going to go cover 20 miles at a trot, probably not a really good match.
Right.
But if you're going camping, just want to ride around, look at the fall colors, you could stroll right along with your neighbor's quarter horse as long as it isn't a trotting competition, and you'll be delighted.
I think something else to keep in mind there is, like the difference between the arena and out on the trail.
Mm-hmm.
So much of it comes down to our timing. One of my biggest takeaway points this year at the Ty Evans Clinic was I was working on getting Honk the Donk to disengage or roll the hinds. And I'm like, Ty, we're doing it, but I kind of feel like we're a robot. It didn't feel fluid. And it was all my timing. So I mean, we're still learning, right? We're still learning how to
Right.
be a really good rider. We're going to clinics to try to keep improving ourselves. But when Ty helped me see my timing and get my timing, all of a sudden she was like a little ballerina. This is big 1,200-pound pardon me, Honk the
A
Donk.
honk. She's a big hunk of honk. You bet she
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
But when my timing got good, so did her fluidness and her movement. And that translates into the trail because if we're out there on the trail and we're like, go, 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 and we never give them that release, the release can be while they're walking. So we ask them to speed up and then they've sped up and we don't release that pressure and let them just walk.
Yep.
It's a learned behavior.
It really is. I've noticed that with Honk, because she came to us with halter broke, but other than that, she was very green. As time goes by, you'll notice your requests for forward progress, how often you have to ask, gets to be less and less frequent, particularly out in the trail. You'll find out on a trail going to actually do something interesting rather than going in circles in an arena. That a little bit of ask goes a long way. So yeah, because they like a change of scenery too.
They do. They like that stimulation. And if they feel safe and confident with what they're doing, they're going to step out better. But if it's new and a little bit intimidating to them, they're going to slow down because that is their freeze mindset. Well, I think I'll slow down and assess this situation. And they're totally fine slowing down when they're not sure.
Right? Yep.
And because of that, they need a lot of experience. Like last year was Honk the Donk, was that her first year riding? Yeah.
Second year. She's done parades 2 years now.
Right, but last year was her first year under saddle. This is year number two.
We're still in year number 2. Yes.
Yeah. So the first
24
year,
2024 was her first year under saddle.
yeah, okay. So her first year under saddle, she was a lot slower, a lot more hesitant. And like this year, she's much better. She's much more forward, and you can keep the trot longer than you could on year one.
Yes, absolutely. There's been the progress made at donkey speed has been remarkable. I mean, it was just a lot of patience, knowing we would get there. She will now motor right along, moving cows. If I ask her to trot, I'll get some trot for a distance. Granted, she's not a Tennessee walker, but she's really understanding it, and she seems to be enjoying it more now that she also understands what I'm asking. And like when we did that last clinic with Ty, you know, when I've ridden her in an arena before, just doing basic training stuff, she gets bored with that. But working those cows, when there's a purpose, a job to do, you know, things going on, man, she was with me the entire time. I mean, she did a great job. Good gas pedal, yeah.
So some of this stuff is we have to build into it. And Dan's been doing more trail rides with Honk than I have. Like he's gone and gathered cows with Honk. And with I'm always careful. I really want to condition her because if I wear her out on the trail, she's going to get sour to the trail. So I'm trying to be really careful with that. So because of that, I'm trying to work on conditioning her. And with where our life is at, the season that we're in right now, I work a full-time job and we're training donks. We're not as consistent as we would like to move towards with riding, but the more consistent you can be, 3 days in a row, 3 is a magic number. So the more you can get that. Make sure you're dropping in your comments anytime, your questions, anytime that you have them. Let us know where you're watching from. Yesterday there was comments and I didn't notice them, so we're still working on getting good at that. New terrain, one that Seamus did, oh my gosh. So we brought him to Arizona, and no, he wasn't as fast as the horses, but he kept up just fine. Everybody was happy to have him there. But we had to go down, like you had to step down. It was rocky area, and Hannah had to get off because we would switch back and forth. I was trying to work on conditioning too. And it took a long time to get him down that step. Now, Seamus at a trail course this year, he whooped some horses.
Yeah, he's kind of fearless now.
He is fearless, but he didn't used to be. So we're trying to get him to step down that. I don't know if it was like a foot down. It was a rock, and you know the horses were fine with it, but Seamus was nervous. That might have taken 15, 20, 30 minutes to get him to step down then, but now he'll just step down. So that's that hesitation, freeze and assess, and be ready for it, because if you're out there and you're on a time crunch, I gotta get this now, or I don't want to keep everybody waiting, you're gonna make it not fun for your donkey. What makes the donkey trail ready? A lot of practice.
And maybe another part of that question would be safety wise, what does your donkey need to accomplish in a controlled setting before you can head out right into the countryside on a trail?
Well, I guess I want to know that they can steer a little bit.
Yep.
And once they can steer, the sooner you can get them out of an arena or round pen, the better, because it's more stimulating to them. And you can still practice everything that you would practice in a round pen or an arena. You can practice all those things around a tree or sagebrush or around each other.
Yep. For me personally, I like to know I can, if things are getting interesting and I've had to do it with Honk a few times at her first parade. When things are starting to get tense and I can feel that she's getting stressed out, be able to disengage those hindquarters and just do gentle circles. Just keep those feet moving. Keep her moving. Those feet helps calm them down a little bit rather than standing there all stiff and worrying about it. Yeah. Keep them. Make sure you can disengage those hindquarters and do tight circles both directions, is something I personally will want on any green animal I go on a ride outside of an arena. And even in an arena, if things are getting tough, disengage those hindquarters.
And when we start an animal under saddle, that's like the first things that we're doing is, will you flex your neck? And then will you flex your neck? And then scoot over that hind end, right?
Yep.
Like those are the first things that we're doing. We need them to understand. I rode a wild donkey in a parade and I never even taught her how to stop.
And that was said at Jake Clark Mule Days.
Jake Clark and at Roundup. And it was funny because this donkey was pretty darn forward, especially when she was nervous. So we're doing this parade and she kind of thinks that this is the Autobahn. She wants to pass everybody, but I never taught her how to stop. And because we're in a parade and a lineup, I didn't want to try to disengage to slow her down. So there's another way to do it where you are pressing your foot down in the stirrup when their foot comes down. Okay, so you're trying to balance with them. And it worked. I was able to control her speed. And the same thing, you would bump when their foot comes up. So we practiced this at the Ty Evans Clinic, and then I was able to do it in the parade to help control her speed.
That's funny. You know, one thing too, as a donkey owner, be prepared to laugh. They're too wonderful to take serious. I mean, we're laughing about, she rode in a parade and hadn't taught the donkey to stop. Okay, I mean, gee, what could have went wrong, right?
You wouldn't do that with a horse, right?
Right. I mean, luckily it's a donkey. I mean, you usually think a donkey teach it to stop. Well, it could come in handy. Yeah, stop is an important one. Yeah.
Right, but with the, and I guess this is a good thing to know. With the snaffle bit, that's what we start them in. It's not something you're supposed to pull back with two reins on. So she wasn't at that stage yet. So yeah, so I just hadn't taught her that because we hadn't graduated there.
But she made it through.
She did awesome. She's such a good donkey. All right, so let's see. Skills is kind of where we're at with what makes them trail ready. So being able to flex and disengage. I also like to ask them to move their front foot over, just their front foot, which is part of the whole when we're teaching guys how to clear the front. All of the stuff we're doing on the ground later on, we do under saddle.
Absolutely. And you have to be able to do it on the ground before you can reasonably expect to do it in the saddle. So do not take a shortcut with any equine. Make sure you can do it on the ground.
Absolutely.
But it's not fair to anyone. You'll just get frustrated if you can try and teach disengaging the hindquarters, and they've never been attempted it on the ground. Okay, work with them on the ground. We've got some great videos out there that we can point you in the right direction.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
We want them to be able to stand still to mount. Now, if your donkey is moving around while you're trying to mount, that's dangerous, guys. So work through it and be willing to take the time that you need to take to help them feel comfortable. Because if they're moving, it's either because they're nervous or because they learned a behavior, right?
Yep.
So help them. We want them to do that. We're going to teach them not to crowd animals. And that is a big thing with donkeys. So when we're riding in the parade, there'll be other people in front of us. And guess what? Their horses are afraid of the donkeys. What these horse people don't know is that our donkeys are afraid of their horses. So they're like, don't come too close. And we're like, yeah, we're not trying to come too close. And
Right.
but sometimes with wild donkey Grace, I would have to slow her down. Distractions. We're going to be teaching that, but we're not really trying to desensitize them. We're just trying to help them be confident with things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Repetition matters for donkeys so much, guys, because they learn from their experience and they need so much time to assess that they need that repetition so they can feel confident.
Right. Yeah, and then the recipe for that would be, and this is just a broad example, repetition. Well, you don't want to do I would rather see you, instead of doing the same thing for 10 minutes and letting them think about it for a minute, I'd rather see you do the same thing for a minute and let them think about it for 9 minutes. That's how I'd rather see you spend your time.
There's a rule of thumb for that, and it's 75% standing with them, 25% asking them questions. So an hour, you're only actually asking them questions for 15 minutes.
Right.
Now, when you're not asking them questions, you could have asked them to pick up their speed on the trail. And then once they do, you leave them alone and just let them walk at whatever
Yes.
speed they
Yep.
want. There, you're not asking
And they
questions.
start slowing down, getting stuck in the mud, then you can, request they pick it up a little bit. But you'll find on a trail that they'll motor right along.
Absolutely.
So there's a reason not to.
When you're introducing obstacles to your donkey, what we have found, and there could be new ways that we don't know about yet, but when we bring a horse to introduce a horse to an obstacle, The horse, we get to go through the obstacle so fast compared to the donkey. The donkey might take more than one session, and the horse, maybe we get it to go through in just like a half hour or something, or even faster. So just be prepared, and when it happens, when it takes forever for it to happen, don't be frustrated. All we have to do is keep working on our timing and giving them breaks so they can digest what they're learning. Now, the mental difference, you know, a horse is going to be go, go, go. That's typical. A mule, oh, let's go to the donkey. A donkey is going to be freeze, right? That's obvious. And then a mule could be anywhere on the spectrum between the horse and the mule. So if you have a horse that's super flighty and a donkey that's really in a freeze mode, your mule could be anywhere along that spectrum. So you just never know for sure which way it's going to go. Common pain points, oh boy. The most common one I hear is, why won't my donkey move forward? So let's say we're asking our donkey to go forward, and so we kick. You're better off to do something abrupt that kind of startles them into going, because then you can just be abrupt and be done asking. They don't do well with being nagged. Mules and donkeys especially don't do well with being nagged.
No, they don't.
Now, you used like a flapper that you can kind of swing around a little bit for honk.
Yeah, I've got there's a industry term for it, and I can't think of it right now. But it's part of my reins. It's I can swing it around like this. And occasionally, early on, I would have to give her a good whack to get her to go. When I would say walk, and she'd just stand there and ignoring my heels. Now she knows that if she ignores my heels, or my lift the reins up, come on, let's go, sweetie. If I just pick that rein up and just swing it just a little bit, she's like, oh, he's serious. All right, I'll go.
Now, to back that up even a little bit more, when we first ask our animal to start walking, the cue isn't kicking. It's picking up the reins, leaning forwards, like wiggling your pinky toe. Try to get them to be able to move forward from your position in the saddle and thinking about your pinky toes. Try to go that small.
Yeah, try to go that small and increase your pressure if you have to. And with honk, there was a lot of pedal power in the beginning. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
We did a race. I think we were on Valhalla.
I was on Valhalla and you were on honk, and they were at the same stage of their training.
Like we've been on their back maybe on and off 10 times, not riding, just on and off over a period of a few days. So they're both ready to start working on forward motion under saddle. And so we moved a divider and a pen. Now, granted, this pen is now 24 feet by 48 feet. And we would have a race. Yeah, we would have a race to the other end of the 48 feet and back. And the first few times, at least one of us took 10 minutes.
To go 48 feet?
48 feet and back 48 feet. That was in the very beginning. I mean, we're on a highway. I'm sure the people thought we were crazy people because we looked like we were having a seizure on our backs trying to get her move forward.
Right.
And it's been so rewarding to watch the progress.
It is totally rewarding. And from how we did things then, which was 2 years ago, when I do start, the next donkey I'll be starting under saddle is going to be Holler. And Holler won't be started in 26. She's going to get started in 27 because I want to wait till she's between 4 and 5 years old. Yeah,
because she'll just be turning 4 in March, I believe is her birthday. March, April, May. Okay, yeah. So she'd just be 3. And these mammoths that we're talking about, they grow slow.
All right, so let's see, moving forward. So we're going to be really releasing. And once they start walking forward, do not ask again, even if they're walking like molasses in January. Don't ask again until they stop.
Yes.
Teaching a donkey to canter. I feel like I'm still working on this myself. One of my goals is to get a donkey to canter on command. I have gotten Seamus to canter a time or maybe 2. And that I used a tree branch and swung it. I wasn't hitting him. I was swinging it until he cantered. And Hannah was on my horse ahead of me. Has done, she's cantered or loped, whatever you want to call it. While she's running behind me. And then a time or 2, she's gone into the lope. But only a step or 2 or 3. That's all I've gotten from Now you've gotten more from honk.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of lope here and there. First year we got 0. First year was, wow, we got a trot. Now it's a trot on command, and this year I think we'll see some some cantering, loping.
Now, again, if we were consistent and riding like 3 days a week, I think we would be a lot farther along, but we're not that consistent.
Right, and in our defense, in this industry, we're kind of like, I'm gonna use a parallel to a different industry, is most auto mechanics we know who are really good at fixing a car and keeping a car running are usually the ones that have bald tires, leaving a puddle of oil in a driveway, because they don't take the time to work on their own car, but they can really work on your car really well. That's kind of how I feel. I feel like a mechanic. I know, I go put 30, 40 hours in with a bunch of wild donkeys down there, and my honk only gets 30 minutes.
But we have goals, or at least I do for this year. I really want to get honk going even, or holler. No, I can't keep their names straight.
Yeah, whatever their name is,
Wild
right?
Donkey Ah. I really want to really focus on her this year.
And I think she's gonna do great.
So do I.
Yeah, that donkey she's always been sweet. She's getting braver, and her personality's getting bigger.
Long rides, I haven't had any troubles with donkeys keeping up on long rides. I had heard this rumor that a donkey will just stop and refuse to go. We've got Seamus on 9 to 10 mile rides, and he never stopped. But he was tired. I would probably trade out donkeys instead of having one do that many like it was 4 or 5 days in a row.
Yeah, yeah. And maybe somebody watching can share a story. But generally, I wouldn't expect your donkey to match paces on a pack trip going in 23 miles nonstop. If you've been there and done that, we'd love to hear about it.
I think they can if they're conditioned, though.
Right.
I think that a donkey, if they start to feel sore and tired, they're going to be like, we're not doing this again. Where a horse usually can be like, go, 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 and they will. But a donkey's going to refuse more at that point. Now, winter motivation, guys. I put it in my thumbnail, and often it comes down when I go live, so I'll put it back up. But even though I want to be down at the barn as long in the winter as I am in the summer or fall or spring, I'm not. It's cold. It gets dark out quicker. And then the holidays, right? So it's just busy time of year. The hay ball, it's a slow feeder hay ball. The donks love this. All of them do. So we can just pack it full, and it helps with their mental stimulation. Donkeys really need that mental stimulation. So I use the slow hay feeder for any donkeys that are on a diet. And I also use it for donkeys that to give them more mental stimulation.
Give them something to do besides stand there and chew on your fence. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So that is my motivation for cold weather and stimulation. Even 5 minutes a day. If you have a challenge to go out there and work with your donkey 5 minutes a day, even while life is crazy or busy or it's cold, it adds up.
5 minutes will go by really fast, and you'll have a lot of fun, and you'll feel good when you go to bed that night.
Absolutely. Now, if you guys are enjoying these go lives, please do hit that like and subscribe. My next goal is to get up to 10,000 subscribers, and we're getting closer and closer. And I bet you that it's like, last time I looked, around 70% of the people that are watching are not subscribers. Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh, if you're one of those folks, do us a big favor, hit that like and subscribe button. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. We will be back again tomorrow for our 50-day challenge. Go live. Day 27 is tomorrow, guys. Thanks for watching.
Have a good night, guys.
Bye.